Hey Dom, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I am not doing bad at all. I'm very chill today, so that's a good thing. So, yeah, this movie, we get right into it. This movie was Dom's pick
Yep.
today, and Dom, if you want to introduce it and maybe tell us all why you picked this one.
Before we do, we should probably welcome a few new viewers
Yeah,
to our channel. I want to give a shout out to Mel. Great to have
okay,
you along. I hope you enjoy the channel, but we've talked movies offline.
yeah, okay.
So he's finally started watching.
Nice. And one person that actually had seen your video short that you did for this movie is if I forgive me if I butcher your name, but did want to give a shout out to Willie Woodall, 8305. He had sent a couple of messages to us, and one of them was about the songs, and most of them were about the songs. And in fact, his opening volley was about he had posted yeah yeah yeah, and I wasn't totally sure. I think he figured that out. I wasn't totally sure what he meant, uh, but
And he mentioned another great YouTube channel, though,
yes, he did, and I can actually, if you want, I can bring that one up. But
Newcastle After Dark.
yes, and Newcastle After Dark does do they show this movie, and they show it well.
They show a
So
lot of other great movies. I mean, if
yes,
you're into 1960s, 1970s British horror, it's a great channel to follow.
yeah, and I was gonna say maybe a lot of times Dom does the descriptions for us and the when we post the video.
I'll throw a
So
link in.
yeah, I was gonna say post a link to them because they are a pretty cool channel, and so shout out to them and shout out to Woody Woodall. Appreciate your those comments were great.
Yeah, thanks for
And
watching.
yeah, thank you, and I hope you watch this one and enjoy it because we like the seeing the viewers there, and we really love the comments. So thank you very much, Dom. Again, do the intro on this before I start talking your ear off.
Okay, okay. So it's funny. I've online, I am in a number of different horror circles and forums, and I've often heard the term, "What's your comfort horror movie?" And it rarely made sense to me. I mean, like I
Yeah.
watch horror to be scared, to be, thrilled, all that. None of it I would consider comfort. But this movie, today's movie, this is my comfort movie.
Yeah,
We're going to talk about the 1981 comedy horror comedy, The
sure.
Monster Club, starring, it's basically a veritable who's who of 60s horror. Vincent Price,
The
John
great Vincent
Carradine,
Price. Yeah.
Donald Pleasance, and while not a horror staple, the famous Britt Eklund.
Yes. I love Britt Eklund. Believe me, I'm a fan.
Mhm.
No, I'm a longtime fan of Vincent Price. I'm a longtime fan of John Carradine. They have added so much to horror movies, and we owe a lot to their presence on the screen. So
They're
it was so
definitely some
good.
of the greats.
Yeah, it was so good seeing the two of them together, and I mean, just completely, totally cool. There they are there with a werewolf. But so yeah, I don't even have to ask you why you chose this one because I know it's just a long time favorite. But
It's funny, you often talk about your movie picks in terms of nostalgia. And
yes,
I don't really have that much. My memory is horrible. I barely remember grade school or high school. So it's rare that I think of something in the past and I feel a sense of nostalgia around it.
yeah,
This is something that I fully feel nostalgia about.
yeah, oh yeah,
This
yeah.
was
It's some
often shown on late night TV up in
yes,
Maine.
yeah,
So I can remember being a school kid and watching this on the nights I got to stay up late.
yeah. Well, it's funny because before, and younger generations don't remember this at all. That it's not their experience. But we remember before cable, we remember like what the fare that you were subjected to sometimes or gifted to. I think our generations, yours and mine, you're a little bit younger than I am, but more than a little. But as far as like what our viewing was, we basically, at least when you were young, we were limited to three channels, plus UHF ones, some cool UHF ones, as long as your television aerial that was on top of your house or however it was posted, you were limited to what you could get in. And especially living in Maine or New Hampshire, here we're blocked by trees, by mountains, by you know weather, all kinds of things that keep us from getting those or kept us from getting those channels. And most of the good channels were probably Boston ones, and that was you had to have a good antenna to get to those. But yeah, movies like this were shown, and they were shown
They
on.
were almost on constant repeat.
Oh my God, yeah, yeah. You'd every once in a while you'd look, and in the old TV guide, you would look and you would see, oh, Monster Club's on, and you'd be real happy because that's a movie that it made you feel good about. And that's why I often talk about like things like movies like Whatever Happened to Baby Jane or
Mhm.
whatever it was when you saw that was going to be on late at night, you'd be like, yes, yes, they're showing that one. And you make the popcorn and make the brownies and have some snacks and go at it.
So for those of you who have not seen The Monster Club, and you've got no excuse, this
Yeah.
movie's everywhere.
And we feel bad if you haven't seen it. So
This movie is just a crazy mishmash of so many things just thrown into something and duct taped together as a feature-length movie. We're introduced to the author, Ronald Chetwynd Hayes, played here by John Carradine,
right.
and he encounters a starving vampire played by Vincent Price.
Yeah, and I
He
love the way that starts out too.
he
Uh,
allows Vincent Price to drink some of his blood, and in gratitude, Vincent Price's character Erasmus the vampire,
yeah, yeah.
Erasmus brings him to this club, the Monster Club.
And he tells him your blood was delicious. It was a
It was the
special
best blood I've tasted.
in years. Yeah. So, or maybe ever. But yeah,
And so once in the club, again, this is like a potpourri of it combines the tried and true British horror trilogy foundation. So there's three short stories within the movie,
and I love trilogies. I love trilogies. So yeah,
but also mixes it up with a musical variety show.
yeah, yeah,
Which is,
yeah,
I've never seen a movie like this.
yeah. Well, it's one of the things that was kind of cool. Willie that posted in the comments, he obviously liked at least one of the songs, but the songs were actually they were a big part of it. But
Yeah, I mean, it, they got musical acts that were pop stars at the time, or at least pop stars in Britain at the time. And as the director, Roy Ward Baker, had pointed out in an interview, pop is such a fickle thing that you will not recognize any of the, you'll recognize one
UB
name.
UB40.
UB40 does a song on the soundtrack. They don't appear in the movie, but they
Right,
are on the
right.
soundtrack. And that soundtrack was actually printed and tried to sold as a promotional for the movie. There were so few printed that if you see them on eBay, they are always going for triple digits.
Huh. Yeah, that I didn't even realize, but
Yeah,
I can understand.
there was a record, there was a comic book
Huh.
made out of this movie.
Yeah. Well, I think this is one movie that probably has a cult following. I mean, so many movies of this stature or nature probably do, but this one in particular just for some reason I don't know what it is. This movie seems to like just tug at you in nice ways.
Well, I mean, it's got two things going for it. It's a tried and true formula of the trilogy. It's comforting because, those trilogies were never that horrible. Like, yeah, it was
Yeah,
horror. People died. There were monsters. It's not Heredity.
yeah, yeah,
It's
no,
not Midsummer. It's not what horror has become today. Horror can be horrific today.
yeah,
And this is more like, comic book horror.
yeah. This is I kind of almost miss this type of horror because uh, nowadays I think what a lot of people like what they think of when someone says, "Oh, I hate horror. I don't like to watch horror," and they're only maybe thinking of things like, you know, I don't not put certainly not putting it down, but like Halloween maybe being or Friday the 13th being, the start maybe or part of the start of the slasher movies that have just
Within a
kept
violent nature being the end
yeah
of that.
well and they just keep trying to up it all the time
Mhm.
of how much and then there's like the ones that are a lot of people call it torture porn. Um,
Things like
things like
Saw and Hostel.
yeah, and to me, like sometimes I can appreciate those on a certain level, and sometimes I enjoy watching them. But it's like sometimes it's just like it's too much, man. It's like tone it down a little bit. It's not like and unfortunately too, sometimes like even the shock value goes away, or you're just grossed out or something by something that's just graphic for graphic's sake.
Yeah, I
But
mean, do I watch horror movies to feel a sense of dread, anxiety, fear? I do, but only insofar as that's fun.
yeah, yeah. And this one had there were of the stories, the first story starts out and it's actually much more like comedy. It starts out comedy horror. It starts out with a kid and that's him there surrounded by his schoolmates.
Oh, that's not the first one. That's the
Um,
middle story.
what's
The
that?
first story is the Shadmock.
Okay, okay, all right. Yeah, I was thinking this one was, but maybe I've got them out of order. But yeah. Well, anyway, since I brought this one up, this particular one, this kid, he's being bullied, which is a common thing in schools that not even today,
The world
and
over.
yeah, the world over, and it that knows no boundaries by land or country. Um, there's always going to be people that are bullies. But anyway, Britt Eklund is his mom, lucky boy. Uh, but and his father, we find out later, is a vampire. And that brings in this gentleman here, who
Donald Pleasance,
Donald Pleasant,
the
who's
late
well
great.
known in everything from horror to just movies, and he is a vampire hunter, and the kid doesn't know that his dad is a vampire. He's being followed home by these guys, and there they are, the three of them, and they want to know where his father sleeps, which is in the basement, and so the hysterical thing is that he ends up getting bitten, the vampire hunter, and so it's suspenseful at times, but it's also quite comedic, and so that is
Yeah,
part of the
when you were
charm.
talking about the first one being comedic, I'm like, I'm not sure where you're seeing the comedy in
Yeah,
that, but this one definitely.
that's true. That's true. Um, so yeah, so of our three stories, um, we this one here to me probably was the lightest of to me. I don't know what you
No,
thought, but
I think you're right. Yeah, I would agree
yeah,
entirely with that.
yeah. And then of course the Stuart Whitman one. He's a director. Well, actually, let's get on to the first one. Let's get on to the actual first one, which is a couple of con artists, and this woman in pink here, directly behind me, she is one of the con artists. And how did I get that wrong? You were absolutely right. This is the first one, and but this guy is advertising for help. He's trying to catalog his
His
estate. Is that
antiquities.
yes, yes, of which they are very odd antiquities. But he hires her, and at first she runs off, and he's telling her before she runs off that yeah, nobody stays. They all they all run away, and sure enough, she does too. But she returns, and when she returns, um, he's really taken in by her. He's grateful that she would return to him, and he falls in love with her. And so it's both kind of sad, and also her boyfriend is completely greedy and just wants the money, and they just want to
Yeah,
rob
and
this
she
guy.
doesn't even want to do this to the guy. She kind of feels bad for
Yeah, yeah. I almost felt a little bad for her because
him.
this goes very wrong for her,
Hmm.
but she
It
does
doesn't go right
cruelly.
for anyone. Like,
Well, this guy, yeah, yeah. Well, this guy so falls in love with her, the the
the
monster, if you want.
Stadmock.
Yes, yes. And I love the chart that they had on the wall, by the
Oh
way.
my God, that was hilarious.
Yes, that you can see part of the chart between Vincent and John Carradine there, and
And we're saying this is the trilogy, but even between the trilogy, the exchange between Price and Carradine is
yeah,
almost its own story that develops.
yes, yeah, it does. Um, I I love how the waiter is kind of like disdainful of John Carradine because he's only an author of horror. He's not actually, one of the monsters, as it were. Here goes the
Mike, one
quotation.
of the reasons I love this film is because the ending monologue is just so great. Like overall, I like the film. I enjoy it. It's kind of crazy to watch, but Vincent Price monologue about humanity at the
Yeah,
very end, it's like the crowning jewel of this
yeah,
movie.
you're right. Yeah, because the waiters. Well, it wasn't the waiter. It was everyone. All the monsters.
Everyone,
They're all saying he does. He why would
what
you
can he
want him?
do?
Yeah, and he goes, "Are you kidding me? Like he's a human." He goes, "They're the worst ones of all. They're the worst monsters of all. Nuclear war." And he's going on about all the cruelty that man.
They've
Uh,
killed each other by burning, by hanging.
yeah, it's funny because I've seen a few movie quotes where they talk about humans and they say humans are the only ones that kill for pleasure. And I thought to myself, that's not true. If you've ever watched a cat play with a mouse or some creature, there's plenty of animals that will enjoy what they're doing. It's a game to them. Um, However, man does it sometimes purely for the act of cruelness and uh, yeah,
Well, the thing
yeah,
is that we work at it. Like cats are
yeah,
cats.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
only do we enjoy it, we keep finding new, better, efficient
yeah.
ways to do it.
Well, all you have to do is look at some of the torture porn, and even that, like, because sometimes it's funny. Hollywood's kind of like really, for the most part, has really kind of turned its back on, say, like the nudity, say that they used to do more like in the 80s and stuff. It's much rarer, and it's like, oh, that's bad. Well, it's like I'd much rather see nudity. To me, it's fun than I would to watch somebody being torture killed
Just
or
saw
go
it
through.
apart.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
know.
and I remember when I was younger, um, people making the comments of, well, we make these movies rated R mostly because of uh, nudity, and yet we're okay with the violence and the
Hmm.
and which I don't have a problem with violence. I love movies, I love horror, but sometimes it can be done if it's done just for the sake of the violence, and again, that's
Hmm.
why this movie, what you're saying, that's what really plays out so well, is that this movie, um, it's it's got three stories
It's
that,
almost playful in its horror.
yeah, yeah, and there's plenty of humor mixed in with everything else that's going on, so you never feel totally like they're just doing it for the sake of trying to shock you or whatever. But and these stories, this was there. This one had a little bit of, it's a love story. You know, it's, I mean, sadly for him, and sadly for her that she wasn't able to, actually appreciate who this guy was because he
Yeah,
was a
you see
monster.
behind us are the before and after shots of this
Yes,
character.
yeah, and he truly loved her, thought she was beautiful, and this is how she ends up. Not only because she rejects him, but she rejects him so cruelly, um, and spurns his love for a man that really is a, her boyfriend was a real jerk. So
I know he said, could you ever love me? And she's like, no, you're hideous. I could never. And I'm thinking,
yeah,
he's not that bad.
no, he was actually a really decent guy.
Yeah, he
I
wasn't
mean,
the most handsome, but
no, no,
but
but
even that wasn't hideous.
no, no, but that's the problem with people that are, whether you want to call somebody a gold digger, and I don't just reserve that for women because we often use that term for women, but there's plenty of dudes that are gigolos, and that's a gold digger. Um, so if, for someone that can't see anyone beyond a dollar sign and how much the person's worth to them, um, but and unfortunately, that's kind of what she was because that's how she ends up like she is behind you. She's so badly, she's so badly messed up there that Dom actually has to keep her behind him because we're trying to keep you from sin. but but
We don't
no,
want to do gore for
traumatized.
gore's sake.
Yeah, yeah. We're limiting that a little bit. But no, so that story was actually kind of a kind of a cute, cool story. Um, so then we go from that story to the Stuart Whitman one, and he's a director, a little bit of a perfectionist, I guess you'd say. And
I don't know. From what we've talked about with directors like Kubrick,
oh yeah,
I think that
yeah.
just might be a movie director.
Yeah, probably. Well, I mean, to be a good director, I think you have to be a perfectionist. And
Right.
and as far as the Kubrick's got, he's taken a lot of heat for, supposedly how he treated Sally Duvall in The Shining and stuff. But you know, directors a lot of time have to push people in order to get performances. Other actors sometimes will push people, and now we're so timid that sometimes we really criticize that. But anyway, this is him. He's having a little bit of a rough time here, but that's Stuart Whitman in the middle, and he goes out pursuing uh, potential shooting
Movie sake.
sites. Yeah. So, and for one reason or another, he takes a turn, ends up on in a goes through a bank of fog, which is I always thought was a cool little thing there when people would, I've seen that in more than one movie.
You know, I guess I must have wondered what he was thinking. He's a director. He's looking for a site to film his new horror movie. As soon as he goes through that fog, he must be thinking, okay, this is the place.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it did look cool. It looked like if you saw if you saw a place like that, you would kind of think to yourself, wow, this is probably a really good place. Even if we have to pay somebody to shoot here, it should be cheap. And this is a great place to shoot. This one probably ends up being the most savage of all the places. He ends up these weird creatures like the ones that are surrounding him. Um, these creatures. um, they they drive him into a house where there's a guy who is acting friendly, and his daughter, who are acting friendly, and but these people that are around him are not so friendly, and they are almost like zombies. So the other thing I was going to ask you, there are some when the guy starts describing, tells a story. Um, I um, I was really fascinated, and that art was so familiar to me. Who's the artist on that? Do you have a name? Because I've seen that art so much in animation, and yeah, there's another one.
Okay,
And
so here's the thing. As soon as I saw that art,
yeah,
the first thing I thought was Bernie Wrightson.
yeah, that's what I thought. That's actually what I was thinking. I
And
couldn't
it
get the
looks
name.
so much like his work. I
Yeah,
want to think that it is his work. Now, the conflicting thing is that, do you remember how I said a comic book was made out of
yes,
this?
yes.
The artist of that comic was, what's his name? John Bolton.
Okay,
And John Bolton's style is not too dissimilar, so this might be Bolton.
okay. All right. Well, it makes sense, but I mean, yeah, it was just like as soon as I saw the art, I was like, oh my God, I love this artist, and I always have, and I've seen it in like different magazines, whether it's Creepy or 1984 or so, different various comics. But this story, I think of all the stories, this is the one that probably, as a trilogy horror story, this one to me was actually kind of the neatest one.
Yeah,
And
I loved it because the H.P. Lovecraft influence of that
yes,
story was obvious.
yes, yep, it was. I totally agree there. It was, and yeah, I just love that little, I guess, or do you call them zombies, or are they just ghouls
They
or
were
what?
ghouls.
Yeah, ghouls. But that the whole story when they're talking about him, uh, saving them out of the grave, and I'm thinking because he had the first one was the one that's behind
All
you.
comes from boxes.
Yes, yes, yeah. The daughter was really funny. She's telling him about the food, and he's got a bowl of some kind of,
Rabbit stew.
yeah, rabbit stew, and luckily she is a human, and luckily she made him the food, and it was a rabbit that she had trapped and killed earlier that day. So luckily he's actually eating rabbit, but the rest of them are eating bodies, and they rely on the fact that people are going to go through that bank, end up there, and become food for the ghouls. So yeah, it's this story had some humor, definitely.
So, do you know who wrote these stories?
No, no, I don't. I didn't do any
So,
research.
if you'll recall, I said at the start of this movie, the main character, John Carradine, plays an author, Ronald Chetwynd Hayes.
Okay,
He's an actual author. He wrote
huh?
these stories. He actually wrote a bunch of short horror stories for other British trilogies.
Yeah,
Another
yeah,
one is From Beyond the Grave.
right, right.
He did not like this movie.
Really,
He
really.
felt John Carradine was too old to portray him,
Oh my
and
God. Well, I mean,
he
he was old, but John
he did
Carradine.
not like the way he was portrayed.
Look, if John Carradine portrayed me in any manner, I would be proud to have John Carradine. John Carradine's a legend. Um, I mean, that's John Carradine. The guy is a legend. He's been in so many horror
Like
movies.
Ronald Chetwynd Hayes has standards.
Well, his standards aren't right because uh, John Carradine, Vincent Price, Peter Cushing, uh, just on and
They
on.
actually tried to get Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee for this
Yeah,
movie.
well, Christopher Lee, yeah, that's another one. It's those guys, any of those guys, but yeah, John Carradine was quite elderly here, and John Carradine started looking elderly before he was really fully
in his
elderly.
30s.
Yeah, I mean, when Vincent Price was really old, he didn't look as old as John Carradine. John Carradine just had that thin, gaunt. He looked a little bit like a ghoul himself without makeup. But like I said, I everybody's different. But I'd have been proud if someone said, "Hey, John Carradine's portraying you in a movie." I don't care how old he looks. First of all, I'm old, but even if I was younger, so that to me is pride and vanity. It's like, come on, shake your pride.
Well, I just thought it was funny. I mean, they're dedicating a movie to him. It's featuring all his stories.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he's like, nah, I'm like,
yeah, yeah, really. Well, this movie, this particular one, um, I actually like really felt like, we have a couple of different ones that have like, the creep show ones. There's three actually creep show
yeah,
ones.
there's three of them.
The first two were the good ones,
Mhm.
in my view, but
No, no, I agree entirely.
but
And this is our channel. So
but exactly. So that's our opinion. But no, as far as like the stories, I was like really thinking of these, and it had been quite a while since I've seen this movie. I mean, I haven't seen it in years, and I was thinking, wow, this is really reminds me of one of the early creep show, one or two,
Mhm.
those stories. It's
Well, I
very
mean,
much,
again, all those British ones, Beyond the Grave, Tales from the original Tales from the Crypt.
yeah, yeah. Well, this really ties in with a lot of the horror magazines like Fangoria, Creep Show, all those different ones,
Definitely
and yeah, and then all those Warren ones, which were really cool.
eerie
Um,
and creepy.
oh my God, yeah. And
I
and
wish I still had some of those.
oh yeah, my God, like 1984 and
I've got a few 1984s.
cool. I'm glad you held on to those because that's to me those are treasure. That's
They are.
that's I it's funny because I can actually like think back reading those, and I know you and I were both really big fans of that, and I can remember like certain ones that just like they stick in my head like I watched a movie. They were
Yeah.
that good. So this part here, this scene, when they finally the guy and the human girl, the director and the human girl are fleeing, and these things, there's a horde of ghouls chasing them, and they're rock throwing ghouls. They're flinging rocks,
Oh, those
and
rock throwing ghouls.
that was like kind of like really funny to me. But then of course one of them hits the girl in the back of the head, and she don't make it out of there. So that was one of the both humorous and also that was they overdo sometimes like with horror movies. They overdo the thing of like, oh, somebody escapes and you think it's over, and then something happens. Well, he flags down. I don't think it was overdone in this one. First of all, it was back before they really started doing that, but he flags down two British cops who pick him up, and he's like, "Oh, just take me back to the station." So they get him in the car. He's in the back seat of the car. He can't go anywhere, and they start driving right back to the village. And he's going like, "No, no, don't drive back here." And they go, "Oh no, we always escort." What was the name of the
The elders.
yes, the elders. And so when they pull up there and he's freaking out, they turn around and they're actually ghouls themselves. So,
Mhm.
um, but yeah, those were the three stories. It's terrific. If you've never seen this, my God, to me,
It's just fun.
it's fun. If you want a fun watch, if you're too sophisticated for it, then to me you're no fun. Uh,
And it's got musical acts. This is
yeah.
B.A. Robinson, who I have never heard of in my life, and yet evidently he was a pop star at the time that this
Yeah.
movie was made.
Yeah, I can't honestly. I'm a pretty big music fan
The
myself.
songs were all really corny,
Yeah, but fun.
but they were well performed.
Yeah, and the other thing is they were performed with a lot of earnestness, which I thought was really cool. Um, my favorite song of all, for many reasons, but um, the stripper.
The Stripper by Night. I mean,
Yes,
that was a great song. That song's still playing in my head.
it is. It absolutely is. And this movie also has, and I don't, you already mentioned her. I was a huge fan of her back in the 70s and 80s when I was very young. That's the great, terrific Britt Eklund. She plays a more kind of like a low key uh, star in this one. She doesn't have a very big part,
She
but the
does not have a
beautiful,
big part in here.
no, but like we say, there's no small parts, just small actors. But she is really good in this, just in her small little part, and she's beautiful. The great Britt Eklund. If you've ever seen her in other things, you can appreciate her. She was a Bond girl, for God's sakes, wife of Peter Sellers and Rod Stewart. Oh no,
Was she
Rod
married
Stewart.
to Rod Stewart?
No, Rod Stewart never married her. She wrote a book about her and Rod Stewart and Peter Sellers, and a lot of them did. A lot of the
And Rod Stewart wrote a song about her.
that's right, he did. He tried to deny it and say it was about a soccer team. But if you ever listen to the if you ever listen to the words of the song, I don't think it was about his soccer team. It was about Britt Eklund. Um,
Tonight's the night, by the way, if we haven't mentioned the
well,
song.
he had her singing backup vocals
Huh?
on that. She actually does. She's the French words that are in the original. She
Yeah.
actually did those. So that's another talking about a little bit of trivia. Um, so yeah, Britt Eklund's got some chops there. So we got to give her worth, even though she had a small part in this. But there's some of the bands. That's when Vincent Price is making the case for
Hmm.
a human being in the club, which they all agree in the end that a human does deserve to be.
Oh, wholeheartedly.
Yeah, after hearing all the atrocities that humans have committed, which is unfortunately very true. So yeah,
I
uh,
mean, I think growing up, that's the first time I had heard that articulated so well and emphatically.
yeah, yeah, and it you can't deny it. It's a little hard for a human to deny that humans can be extremely cruel and harsh to each other. And
I mean, teenage me found that very deep.
yeah, well, it was deep. So no, I really love the movie. I love trilogies anyway. Anytime you tell me that a movie is a trilogy movie, um, the stories kind of rang like, that's another thing. We grew up watching, like, Ray Bradbury tales, and
Twilight Zone, Night
yeah,
Gallery.
yeah, oh my God, I love Night Gallery. Night Gallery was
Oh,
one
I
of
miss
the
Night Gallery.
yeah, yep, it's one of those. I believe that's on Tubi. Speaking of shout outs,
Really?
I believe it's either on Tubi or uh, Paramount maybe, but it's one of those ones. But it is available. I actually rewatch them sometimes. Um, sometimes late at night on a night shift, I sometimes pop that on when I have a spare moment. But yes, it's and there's some of the many scenes from this all compiled.
You're talking about trilogies. This movie made me think that we're going to need to choose Trilogy of Terror soon.
Absolutely, I came so close this past Halloween. Came so close to bringing that one in as one of the, and I actually had rewatched it uh, probably on Halloween.
Yeah, I haven't
Um,
seen that in a while, but that was
I,
great.
I hadn't seen it in a little while, and I'll tell you what, it played, and I that's a movie that like you talk about this one almost not needing to re-see it because you know it so well.
I've
I
seen this
feel
probably
this.
20 times.
Well, I'll tell you what, Trilogy of Terror, I probably if not 20, certainly 10 or 15. Uh, I've seen it a lot of times, but this one here, uh, it's a impressive movie. Uh, and there's
It's just a classic. It harkens back to a simpler time.
yeah, it does, and it's you know, hey, I know I'm older, and people that are younger may think to themselves, oh yeah, he's an old bastard, but yes, I am. I stand accused. But no, there's I feel like sometimes you need to appreciate. It's just like way before my time, early history of cinema. You look at stuff like Nosferatu, um, you know,
Texan.
what's that? Oh my God, yes. Um, yep, and whether it's early Phantom of the Opera, whether it's something like I don't I mean I love silent movies like you know what's the grade oh I'm losing it but
Just to prove how old we
yeah,
are.
yes, to prove how old we are. No, it's early cinema like Blossoms in the Dust, things like that. They just they're terrific. Early, there's no sound other than whatever the music score was, and you're talking about people complain about subtitles. In the early silent era, you had to everything was something you had to read until the talkies came along. So
Yep. And the
and no, I'm
talkies
not.
changed everything.
Yeah. Well, I'm not so old that I was actually around during the silent era. I just when I was a little kid, I remember reading about movies and I was always trying to get my hands on anything that talked about film and early film and um, luckily I got my hands on a whole library of books that were really educational and how movies were made and the early cinema and I that's when I got an appreciation for the silent era. And they were talking about how when talkies came along, a lot of actors that were very successful when they made silent movies, they couldn't work, and they couldn't work because their voices, some of them had high voices, or something that just didn't work with sound, and especially early sound. Nowadays, you never know whether it's the sound is being manipulated, or just like singers, you
Right.
know.
You could sub in a voice no problem and you'd never know it.
Yeah, yeah. And you look at singers nowadays for in bands, I mean, yeah, some of them are singing and using their own voices, but there's a lot of them are, they use all kinds of machinery to make sure someone's singing on key and singing at the right pitch and the right, level and just like I said, it's not the same. It's not like when whether it was Janis Joplin or whether it was again we're sounding old here, but but anyway, this particular movie, terrific movie, must see.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I have to. I feel I have to break in here again because
sure,
I give my unequivocal love for this movie. We're both on the same page with that. I can't really recommend this to anyone
I
because
would.
it was such a theatric failure. Like no one liked it at the time.
Dom, if I base my love of movies and movies that I truly feel are great, terrific movies, are fun movies to watch. They don't even have to be great because we both know we love our share of B movies.
Hmm.
But the fact that the cast is in here and the fact that we enjoy this so much, I don't even like consider this one to be a B movie. It's just kind of a maybe a budget movie, but a little bit of a budget. But
This is almost an art film.
yeah, I would
It's
say
it's
that.
that weird.
Yeah, it's 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 very much like a TV movie or like a
Yes.
TV show. if you have an appreciation for something like Ray Bradbury, or they used to have those the British series. We When it was shown here in the United States, it was called Wide World Mystery, but there's the name of the British one. It was Thriller, I think it was called.
I've heard of
Um,
Thriller,
yep. So you've got all of these that had these great stories.
also
Um,
on Tubi.
yeah, also on Tubi.
All
And
good things come from Tubi.
well, I'll tell you what, a lot of it does. I have to give, I believe me, I have to give Tubi a lot of credit, and we are not sponsored by Tubi. We get no
No,
money.
but my latest Substack is I review 9 different shows that are currently on Tubi.
Wow, very cool. Well, you really ought to like
I'll link
like
to it.
yeah, I was gonna say link
But
to
yeah,
them all.
so we love Tubi.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, there's so many times when we're recommending that someone watch a movie, we say, "Oh, that and that's available on Tubi," because it is and it's free. And
Because so much is.
yeah, yeah. I'm sometimes surprised when I go looking and doing a search. Like, I have a Roku player. Again, we're not sponsored by Roku. If anyone wants to sponsor us, by the way, but
Just say it in the comments. We'll contact you.
yeah,
Our
yeah.
people will talk with your
Yeah,
people.
yeah, 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 yeah. We'll sit down and talk. But no. Now you got me laughing. No, like if you do a search on, say, Roku, for something that you're looking, where can I see this streaming? Um, Invariably, Roku will pop up as being one of the ones you can watch it on. So it's just like I said, it's one of those ones that
I've
sometimes
got
it
I've
saves
got
the day.
I've got Disney, Vudu, Hulu. There's Pluto TV, and bar none, Tubi is the platform I am on the most.
It's weird because how many movies I've purchased on like Voodoo, Fandango, if you want to use that. I hate the word Fandango. They should have just stayed at Voodoo. But if you're watching, and I doubt anyone from Voodoo is watching, but if you are, big mistake. Go back to Voodoo, not Fandango.
Yeah, I agree. Second.
It was, I almost refuse to say the name, but yeah, no, it's when you think of all the streaming choices I have, and I've got a lot, man, half the time I'm going back to Tubi because not only is it there, if I don't already own it, I'm going to go to probably Tubi if it's
hmm
available.
hmm
So
But we're talking about streaming platforms now. We're way off the beaten path.
we are,
And so that might tell us we've said as much as we can about this movie,
we
but
have, we have.
my 2 thumbs up should come as no surprise.
Yeah, well, and I echo that. I will give it, I'm not even going to play around with it. It's two thumbs up. This is not only nostalgia, but it's fun.
It's just fun.
Yeah, if you're somebody that appreciates, you listen to us talk about this, hopefully, for the last hour or so, um, and you hear what we said about it. It's something. It's We were talking about this before we started, and we were. I think I said it, but it's like comfort food. It's like going to a diner and having meatloaf and mashed potatoes. It's whatever, fried chicken dinner, a country fried steak. It's comfort food. It's a nice bowl of chowder. That's the way I would describe this movie. It's something fun to watch. So if you're looking for something just for you don't know what you want to see, put this on, give it a try. It's a fun
You
movie.
could do worse.
You could do worse. And having said all that, I think we've probably come to a conclusion here as far as what we have to say this week. But
Well, Mike, I extended spooky season with the Monster Club, but your choice is next. So
yep, I
anything in mind?
well, it's funny because last week when I said, well, we're coming to a close on Thanksgiving, and so you said, well, I'm not ready to give up uh, even though even or not Thanksgiving, Halloween, and we're moving on to Thanksgiving. Um, I had said, well, we're kind of done with that. We're gonna, we're heading into, and you said, well, I'm not done. And of course, we ended up with Monster Club. So you got my head into, the horror movie, and I enjoyed this so much that I was thinking I was playing around with one that I have been wanting to suggest for a while, and I didn't go with it. Instead, I'm going to go with a movie that has had mixed reviews. Some people love it, some people hate it. And it's a recent one. It's called Thanksgiving. So it is a Thanksgiving movie. It's from 2023. I haven't even seen it yet. I've just read some reviews on it.
Yeah,
And
I
they
don't
were
even think I've heard about this.
yep, they were very mixed. It's from 2023. Um, and It's a horror movie that takes place in Plymouth, Mass around Thanksgiving. So that is the pick. And like I said, I was really up and down about, but we're still on horror, but we are moving into Thanksgiving with the movie
So you're
Thanksgiving.
easing us into the transition.
Yes, this is
You're
the
not pulling out the Uncle Buck right
yeah,
away.
yes, absolutely. So yeah, that's where we're at here. And so if you haven't seen Thanksgiving, I believe it's available free in a lot of places. Um, it's definitely on a lot of streaming platforms. So check it out, people. If you have not seen it, check it out.
And
I
this is
have to
going to be
check
a
it.
viewing experience for all of us then,
It's
because I've
yeah,
never
for
seen
our
it.
viewers and for us, because I am recommending this one just as something I wanted to see, sight unseen. I saw some reviews. It sounds like it's a little B movie. It sounds like it's a little potential for you might be coming back next week going two thumbs down. I don't know. I might be doing it. So well, this
That
one's
makes it more fun.
it does. I wanted to go with something that was both seasonal and maybe something that we could just walk into blindly. So Thanksgiving 2003. Um, I have heard that some people really complained about the acting and that some people said it was comedic because of the acting. I've also heard that some of the because it is a kind of a little bit of a slasher horror, and I've heard some people say it was kind of creative and inventive in the ways that they do it. So those are but we're all going into this blind unless you already have seen this movie and love it, which we
Or
haven't.
hate
So
it.
yeah, exactly. So, and again, in the comments, Dom usually does a short before the movie comes out, and you can make some pre-comments or just hold them until we actually do next week.
And
If we,
when I do my short, I'll make sure I tell you all where I found the movie.
yeah, yeah. So, having said all that, I think, folks, please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't. We really enjoy you tuning in, listening to us when you do.
We
Hopefully,
love
you,
comments, suggestions,
yeah. Um, you know, and again, shout out to Willie. I don't have your full name right now, but thank you very much for commenting and giving those little uh, those little blurbs about the song and which one you liked and all that. So we really appreciated that. Thank you very much. And
and Patrick, I'll be seeing you Sunday for movie night.
awesome, awesome. Yeah, Dom hosts a movie night with some friends of his. So far every Monday.
In case you
So,
didn't realize how many different movies I watch in a week.
so we will publish Dom's address. Feel free to show. I'm joking here, of course. He's maybe, but anyway, no, Dom, you enjoy your movie night, and I will see you next week. Thanks everybody, and till next week.
Yeah, till next week. See you, man.
Yep. Spoiler alert out. Thanks.